Karoline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, who is also getting used to the place. Karoline, what was it like for you when you walked into that office the first time?
It was an incredibly surreal experience. We are so blessed to be here, and we have hit the ground running because President Trump is hell-bent on delivering on the promises he made to the American people on the campaign trail. So he has gotten a ton of work done in the last 48 hours. More than 200 executive actions have been taken. Today, the United States military, directed by the Department of Defense, has deployed troops, active duty troops, and National Guards, men and women, to secure our southern border. That is at the direction of President Trump, who has made Homeland Security the core mission of the Department of Defense. This is welcome news from the American people. He is delivering on the promises he made to them already.
So can you confirm that he's going to sign an executive order that puts another 1,500 troops, there are already troops there, at the southern border? And when do you expect to see that happen?
President Trump took this action on his first day here in the Oval Office. He, again, directed the Department of Defense to make Homeland Security the core mission of the agency. And today, that mission is underway. We have active duty military personnel, resources, and assets off to secure the southern border. And President Trump will continue to take any action necessary to secure our border and also to launch the largest mass deportation operation in American history. And ICE and the Department of Homeland Security are already working on that as well. In fact, there have been more than 380 arrests in the last 24 hours of known terrorists, rapists, murderers, and illegal aliens in this country who have committed heinous crimes. I have the list, looked through it this morning, and President Trump saw those numbers as well. Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, and of course we have a Secretary of Homeland Security and Kristi Noem, who should be confirmed swiftly by the United States Senate so she can also get to work on this critical issue.
All right, well, let me ask you about that since you brought it up, and we're going to talk to Senator Markwayne Mullin in just a minute. What's the president's reaction to Chris Murphy and a couple others who seem to be tapping the brakes on his confirmation process for his cabinet?
President Trump has been unequivocally clear that all Republicans need to stand strong, tough, and smart together to confirm these nominees, and Democrats should do that as well. We saw the Senate unanimously approve Senator Marco Rubio. He's the first to be confirmed. We expect that Pete Hegseth will also be confirmed later this week, and all of President Trump's nominees should be confirmed by the United States Senate because they are exceptionally qualified to do the jobs that he has tasked them with. These are brilliant individuals. They are outsiders who are coming to Washington with decades of experience in their respective fields to shake up the swamp. That's what the American people elected
Karoline,
President Trump to do, and that's what this team will help him do.
Does the president want the Senate to shut down, essentially, to go into recess and push through recess appointments? Is that his directive to the senators?
I have not heard him give that directive directly, so I can't speak to that. But I do know that he believes it's imperative that the United States Senate confirms his nominees, particularly those in the national security space. As we know, the threats to our homeland have never been greater.
Let me ask you, we just heard the contents again of President Biden's letter to President Trump, a very cordial letter asking God to bless the country and his work as he moves forward as the commander in chief. I would imagine that's what all of you were expecting to hear a little bit more of at the National Cathedral yesterday. Were you surprised at the tone from Bishop Budde? And did anyone feel that maybe having her speak was going to be a little problematic when everyone walked in there?
It was supposed to be a unifying and bipartisan church service in the beautiful National Cathedral here in Washington, D.C. And I was there with President Trump, and everybody there was shocked and mortified by the disturbing comments from this bishop who chose to weaponize the pulpit. She had an opportunity to pray over the president and the vice president and their families who are sitting in the first pews. And she spoke about truth, which was very ironic because words later, she spewed lies. She said that President Trump has called illegal or immigrants criminals. That's not true. He calls illegal immigrants criminals because, in fact, they are criminals by definition. If you break our nation's laws, you are a criminal. She also talked about how LGBTQ people in this country may be disappointed. That's also a lie. In fact, I just saw Scott Bessent in the West Wing of the White House on his way to meet with President Trump, and he is the highest ranking LGBTQ official in United States history appointed by the president in the Oval Office right now. So the comments by that bishop yesterday were egregious, and she should apologize to President Trump for the lies that she told. It's despicable to see that.
Yeah, I mean, she's all over other channels, sort of taking a victory lap, I guess, on The View. So I don't know if any apology is forthcoming, but it was certainly a very partisan and inappropriate sermon that she gave. It seemed to become all about her rather than all about blessing the president on his way in, as it has always traditionally been. I want to ask you about this because we heard this, massive announcement of Stargate with Larry Ellison and Sam Altman and Massasan, the head of SoftBank, $500 billion investment, which I think people welcome, that everyone wants, I believe, us to be on the cutting edge of AI. But then Elon Musk came out and said SoftBank doesn't actually have the money. SoftBank has well under $10 billion secured. I have that on good authority. What's the president's reaction to that from Elon Musk?
Well, President Trump is very excited about this infrastructure announcement in the field of AI, which is obviously growing and something the United States of America needs to capitalize on because our adversaries, such as China, are very advanced in this field. And so that was a big announcement for our country, for our industries here at home, and also for the American people, because this is going to create a minimum of 100,000 jobs here in the United States of America. So the American people should take President Trump and those CEOs' words for it. These investments are coming to our great country, and American jobs are coming along with them.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to watch all of that play out. And Sam Altman, I should point out, went back at Elon Musk and said they absolutely do have the money for this venture. And they have their own bit of back and forth on social media that's been going on for quite some time. I want to ask you about this, Karoline. Just crossed the wires, and we were waiting for a new executive order with regard to the border. It says Trump signs, let me just get it in front of me here. Thompson, Reuters reporting, Trump signs executive order to suspend physical entry of migrants through the southern border. Give us a sense of what that means. And I guess the question that comes to mind first is what happens if someone does physically cross the border? What will happen to that individual under this executive order?
President Trump is using every lever of his executive power to secure our nation's borders. This is the number one promise that he made to the American people on the campaign trail. And with this action today and the many actions that he took on day one in the Oval Office, he is delivering on that promise. And he is sending a very clear message to the rest of the world. If you are even thinking for a single second about illegally entering our country and breaking the laws of the United States of America, you will face consequences for doing so. You will be returned to your home country, and you will be arrested, and you will be prosecuted as well. One of the actions President Trump took on day one is actually empowering the court system to ramp up the prosecutions of illegal criminals who commit crimes here at home. And we are not going to tolerate this in sanctuary cities as well across this country. The only place the United States of America should be a sanctuary for is law-abiding American citizens. That's the new way under this Trump administration. And President Trump will also continue to push Congress to pass border security measures as well to increase funding for Border Patrol and for ICE, for those brave men and women in uniform who have now been finally empowered to do their jobs after 4 long years under the Harris-Biden administration.
We have heard from Tom Homan that they are elated that they can actually do their jobs, and this additional force at the border gives them a little bit more leeway to be able to do the job that they do rather than some of the things that landed on their lap. And I think it sends a very strong message to anybody thinking about trying to cross the border, not at a port of entry, but, across the border, as our cameras have picked up for the last several years, Karoline, that you will be, according to the language, repelled, repatriated, and removed.
That's right.
If you try to cross our southern border. And obviously, the ports of entry are the places to be processed and to apply to come into this country. And we've just watched people come over the sides of the mountains into California and Arizona and all of our states at the border. Karoline, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.